Hello, my name is David Tiska. I reside in the town of Safford, Arizona, and I used to live in Wilcox. I wish I never moved to Safford, Arizona. It is a criminalized town that doesn't follow federal law. It doesn't follow any law, and it persecutes the sick people as myself. I am a severe diabetic. My insulin pump, Omni Pod, failed, so I had to go to Mount Graham Regional Medical Center in Safford, Arizona, which almost ended my life. They refused to give me an insulin drip. I have this documented with my son Daniel, who I called when I was in the hospital, telling them that they're going to kill me because they're refusing to give me insulin, and all they said was, "We don't like your accent. You sound like a dumb New Yorker." And it's not New York, it's Long Island accent. They don't even know what accent that they're saying that they hate. But in Safford, Arizona, they hate everything. Nobody likes anybody. There's fights, meth abuse, alcohol abuse. And when I went to the hospital, I was abused. Tanya Ruis violated federal law. I requested to leave. I took my IVs out and my blood pressure machine off the cuff, and I started to walk out of the hospital because they kept on beating me, and I got pulled back in the hospital. My federal law rights to leave the hospital when they're killing you and failing to give you treatment. I left the hospital, which Tanya Ruis pulled me back. I got videos of her throwing me around like a rag doll onto the bed face down. I couldn't breathe. She put me in a headlock and almost choked me to death. But because she would not release, I had to bite her to get her to release because I started passing out from lack of oxygen from her suffocating me. The Safford courts placed felony charges against me, and they also allowed 4 people that have ties with this Mount Graham Regional Medical Center to be on the jury. I had 4 of the jury members falling asleep. It was supposed to be a 2-day trial. They came back in less than 4 and found me guilty of a felony. A felony because I defended myself from being choked to death. But in Arizona, you can't defend yourself. You have to wait until they suffocate you to death. And if you put a hand up to them, you get a felony. This is how corrupt Arizona is. Type it in Google. Arizona is rated the most corruptive state in the union. This was in the Phoenix newspaper. And I need President Donald Trump's help because they don't like diabetics and they're killing me. They're sentencing me on the 13th of May, and I guarantee they're going to throw me in jail, and they're going to refuse to give me insulin, which is going to cost me my life. I'm blind in my left eye because my blood sugar was 4,000 on April 7th at 7:45 p.m. on April 7th, 2024. They refused to give me insulin. All they did was beat me, and they charged the insurance company for doing absolutely nothing. And Dr. David Bryce was on the stand. The court asked him if I ever threatened him. His reply was no, because I do not threaten anybody. And Tanya Ruis said I attacked him because I supposedly threatened to kill Dr. David Bryce, which I do not say. I do not threaten anybody. Look at the size of me. I'm 110, 115 pounds, and Tanya Ruis is like 300, 390 pounds, and she says that I attacked her. No, she attacked me. She beat me. I have pictures that I provided to my attorney that was supposed to be submitted to the courts, which were not. I have a letter from my son, Daniel, who was submitted to the courts, wasn't allowed into evidence. I called him telling him the hospital's going to kill me. I need to get out of here quick because they're refusing me insulin, and I was in diabetic shock at the time, and it gets worse as the sugar goes up. It's called diabetic rage. The hospital put me into that situation because they refused to give me insulin. I tried to leave, and they beat me to death. Tanya Ruis said I made one big mistake by calling my son, telling him the abuse that I'm going through in the hospital, and she beat me savagely, almost killed me. And I have the pictures, documents. She broke my left middle finger. It's so distorted now. She broke my middle finger. She fractured my hip and my left thigh. The femur was broken before. But the Safford Arizona courts and the Mount Graham Regional Medical Center hates outsiders, they hate Catholics, and they straight out said this. They said, we're a Mormon town, Catholics aren't welcome. Well, first of all, Catholics, that's the basis of religion, because Catholics don't tolerate the sins that every other religion commits. Mormons come from New York State, and the guy who developed the Mormonism is a nut job in himself. And I left New York, and I left all of the New York bullshit behind, so I'm not going to come from New York to Arizona to be part of New York again. But either way, anybody who's been abused, and anybody, because the American Diabetes Foundation, and nobody's helping me. I'm a victim, and I'm being persecuted in Safford, Arizona. They're going to set me up and kill me. I'm letting everybody know Safford, Arizona has committed crimes against my human rights. They violated me. They found me guilty of being sick and in the hospital, which refused me medical treatment and insulin, and I gotta pay the price. This needs to stop. Mr. President, help me before Safford, Arizona kills me. Everything here is beyond corrupt. Thank you.